Hey, Chris Lipe here with the isolated vocals for Tool, Maynard James Keenan, Schism. Really, really amazing stuff that you hear with the isolated vocals that you sense with the full band and the full arrangement and mix. But getting into the way the background vocals, the harmonies move together, and I mean, I knew these parts were there, but I didn't know exactly what they were the whole time. Really, really neat to internalize these things. And I think what it also does is it helps explain the wonderful vocal tone we hear in the full mix. The fact that it's multiple Maynards, but we don't necessarily hear it all the time as multiple Maynards, goes a long way. And our realization of that also, I think, helps me when I'm producing my own vocals, when I'm singing on things. Background vocals are huge. They are huge for the way the lead vocal sounds. So keep that in mind as we go through these. There's a lot you could say about Maynard, and we'll say a lot as we go through these. But this song, in terms of background vocals, is just mint. Now, if you'd like more help with your vocals and your production, you like what I do here on YouTube, and you'd like a more personalized approach with your voice, the best place to start is by clicking the link below and joining my free voice course. I help you dial in necessary skills to free your voice so that you can take it and use it in a way that is uniquely and expressively you. Oh, and one more thing. I was at this neat sort of boutique record shop in the mountains a little bit ago, and I happened to pick this up. And I like collecting vinyl, even if it wasn't originally released on vinyl. But part of my draw to this album and Tool in general is the tactile nature of what they do, which is represented perfectly in a vinyl release, where you've got all the artwork and it looks different than the original release. But when I think of tactile and visceral and engaged, I think of Maynard's voice. There's so much nuance in it. And for some reason, listening on vinyl, if you ever get a chance, take albums that you know, go pick up the vinyl and listen to it on vinyl with the artwork in your hands, with the song listing or lyrics next to you, with paper. It helps you notice things, just like listening with isolated vocals, that you don't normally notice. So just wanted to put that in there.
I know the pieces fit, 'cause I watched them fall away, mildewed and smoldering.
Okay, so he's got the octave thing going on, right? First, it's
I know the pieces fit.
I know the pieces fit. He's got it up there, but then
I know,
and it's doubled. It's doubled low. Let's see if it's doubled high.
pieces fit,
It is.
'cause I watched them fall away.
And then that fifth comes in there. We'll talk about that more here in a little bit. Also, listen to the placement. We've got panned out lows and center highs. That helps you focus where they want you. You've got the fullness with these lower notes, lower octaves, and then it kind of builds this mixed triangle with the vocals.
Mildewed and smoldering, fundamental differing, pure intention juxtaposed will set two lovers' souls in motion, disintegrating as it goes, testing our communication. The light, the fuel, the fire.
Okay, so you hear this intervallic thing, the parallel fifths, almost like he's playing power chords with his voice. At this point in the song,
Communication, the light, the fuel, the fire, and then there's
we've got all of these notes. So we've got this chord in there, and then he's playing a fourth below that focused note. Like this is the light the fuel, right? But then we've got that in there. I think it's really helpful to look at harmonies sometimes as guitar chords. It helps me think about what's possible. And also, it helps me move my voice in a more ordered way if I can visualize on the guitar. And even be inspired rhythmically by it, and then build something with my voice.
Acacia light the fuel, the fire, and then has burned the hole between us, so we cannot see.
Isn't that movement?
And then crippling our communication.
Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. Crippling our communication. That middle fourth or fifth, depending on how you look at it, being placed in that stack is so key. And the fact that it moves in tandem non-diatonically, right? Like it's always that perfect fourth or perfect fifth as it goes through these lines. That's what gives it that really, really neat sound. And also, there's no pitch correction. There's also imperfections in terms of when he closes on these different parts. And that's another part of what makes it feel so creamy and cool, is that he's closing the vowels at different parts, different timings, and his tone is slightly different. He's got this sort of childlike, innocent higher voice right here. La la, it's kind of light, la la light. We hear that vocal that he does higher in a more naked way on songs like The Pot. But here it's layered in with these creepy, subdued, lower harmonies. So neat.
I know the pieces fit, 'cause I watched them tumble down. No fault, none to blame. It doesn't mean I don't desire to point the finger, blame the other. Watch the temple topple over to bring the pieces back together. Rediscover communication.
That revolving delay is so awesome. Notice the different vocal posture he's got now. Communication! Like it's
none to blame.
None to blame! He's way over the top now. He's compressed, he's in chest voice. And none to, that's how he would have sang it the previous stanza. But here, he's... The only thing that's changed is his lead vocal delivery. Everything else, all those other characters, those minions behind him are in place. So he's growing this arrangement through the arc of his lead vocal performance. Really, really cool.
The poetry that's come from the squaring off between and the circling is worth it. Finding beauty in the dissonance.
Notice the staccato here. Another thing that makes Maynard so amazing is how many different ways he can say stuff with his singing voice.
The poetry that's come from the squaring off.
That come. Having that control and that compression and this accuracy, unintentional accuracy from these very short staccato with the pitches that he's singing is very difficult. but it's something that we should practice and something that we should internalize.
From the square and off between.
Don't go for exactly what he's doing. Go for the groove and the essence. From the square and off. From the square and off of. Let yourself go in and out of different placements so that you can get this sort of spontaneous sounding staccato.
Square and off.
Listen to how he does this.
From the square and off.
How he slides from the square and off. There's this sense of staccato right before it.
That come.
And then this chromatic walk up. Square and off. But notice how he breaks more and more as he goes up.
And off.
Off gets long. Square and off. Square and off. That's really, really cool. Even if he's not really thinking about all these things, the fact that there's so much dynamics in how these notes are coming out, there's so many amazing little quirks about each way that Maynard phrases each line. That's why he's so fun to listen to.
And the circling is worth it, finding beauty in the dissonance.
The dissonance, right? He's like loud whispering there.
Circling is worth.
Now listen how he closes that. Circling. He does that so much where he closes things and lets things resonate in a closed way.
There was a time that the pieces fit, but I watched them fall away. Mildewed and smoldering, strangled by our comforting. Have done the math enough to know the dangers of our second guessing. Doomed to crumble unless we grow and strengthen our communication.
Yeah. So notice how the breaths move with his gang of Maynards. He's breathing at the same time in every part, and it helps it feel like one voice, which is why I think in the full mix, you don't hear this. You sense it more than you hear it. But listen here.
Strengthen our communication.
Notice how the density becomes less there. How the focus becomes more on that particular note. Really neat. And then it goes into that delay throw. And I've talked about delay throws and that revolving delay on other Tool and certainly other isolated vocal track analyses. So be sure to check out some of my other Tool ones, other Maynard ones, as well as the ones I've done on Chino Moreno from the Deftones, to get more into the nitty-gritty of effects. I really wanted to focus for this video on the harmonies and the arranging and the energy behind that, without making it too long.
Cold silence held.
Oh, the dissonance.
A tendency to atrophy any sense of compassion.
Oh, you got those different notes in there. The
sense of compassion.
Passion happening in there.
Compassion. Between supposed lovers.
Beautiful unisons.
Between supposed lovers.
Sighing into an H, very popular thing to do. So neat if done right. If overused, that can be irritating though. Maynard doesn't overuse it.
I know the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit. I know
The audio quality here of these isolated tracks isn't the greatest here.
the pieces fit. I know the pieces fit.
Notice how he gets more intense, but the way that the vocal arranging and placement from an engineering standpoint feeds into that.
I know the pieces fit!
The pieces fit! He's got this he's not saying fit, 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 it's fit, fit! It's a very open eye, right? But he's also, if you listen carefully,
I know
you've got this EQ band limited thing going on out here, so it's very harsh. And then you've got your very tube saturated pieces fit in the center. Really, really neat production going on here at the end as well.
I know the pieces fit!
I hope you enjoyed this one. I always love exploring anything Maynard. Leave your suggestions for more analyses in the comments below, and if I can get my hands on them or create them in terms of isolated vocals, I certainly will. Again, if you want more personalized help with your own voice, click that link below and join my free course. Start with me there, and hopefully we can work more closely together. We'll see you for more.